Hey everyone, I'm Ishan Sharma, and a lot of you have been asking me this question: which cryptocurrency should you be investing in, or which is the best cryptocurrency for you to buy right now? As you can see, right now the cryptocurrencies have again rebounded, and it seems like we are again in like a bull market. With me, I'll be having Atharv, who has been investing since 2017, and he has also worked at a bunch of blockchain startups, and he's currently working at a blockchain project. So he'll be sharing exactly what the top 6 or 7 cryptocurrency projects are about. He talks about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Matic, and many more. You can watch the complete video. You can hit the like button, and here is the video. Hey Atharv, thank you for joining me here for this video. And how are you doing there?
It's been great. It's been great. First of all, thanks for having me on the show. It's all my pleasure, and I'm really looking forward to having a great conversation.
Amazing, bro. I watched your video, your live stream with Harish Pia. So I was just like, I have to make something similar and like educate people more on this topic. Okay, today we'll be talking about cryptocurrencies. A lot of you might be having confusions, some doubts about cryptocurrency, scam hai kya nahi hai. So we'll just be talking about that right now. Okay, bro, first of all, tell me like, why are you the right person to talk about cryptocurrencies? Just so that the
Right.
audience
So
knows.
that's a good question to start out with. So I am in my final year of computer science at BITS Goa. I've been in the field of blockchain technology for around 3 years till now. So I started in like the very early part of my second year, and then it's been quite the journey since then. I have done internships in 2 major blockchain firms. I have done a few projects with our campus professors, which have been semester-long projects, some of which are also perhaps going to be resulting into papers. So that's there. I've also interned at Goldman Sachs in the past, and I am currently interning at Amazon. So those are the 2 things I'm doing.
Amazing, amazing. But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the different types of cryptocurrencies that are available right now. The top trending ones are the cryptocurrencies that are the best at when you compare it with respect to the market cap. So with
Yeah.
respect to the market cap, let's talk about the first one and the most famous one, that is Bitcoin right now. So what is Bitcoin? The project itself, right? Not the hype. Hype is definitely there. You all know about the hype, but what is it exactly about the project that is interesting and that has value?
Yeah. So Bitcoin, the project, right? So Bitcoin, the project is essentially like the first generation blockchain, so to speak. So that was the first time when it sort of garnered like public attention, because it was the first way in which you can transact the way cryptocurrencies were meant to transact. Like when I gave the China wala example, where I, let's say, pay somebody on the other side of the world, let's say, using the same currency, that is where Bitcoin really shined. So we can look at Bitcoin as the first example of digital gold, because that was a way to transact and store value. So that is where Bitcoin first came into the picture. And Bitcoin also has a significant first mover advantage, in the sense that it was the first one which was created. So because of that, people tended to trust it more, people tended to buy it more. And for that reason, the prices started shooting up.
Right. Okay. This is what Bitcoin is about. It's more seen as a place for you to park your capital, your wealth, right? It's not so much about
That's
like
true.
transacting too much. Okay.
Yeah,
That's what
because at
Bitcoin
this
is.
point in time, the transaction speeds of Bitcoin are so low and the transaction fees are so high that you would rather be better off just holding it and waiting for it to appreciate in value rather than trade it. So for that reason, people look at it more as a store of wealth now, as opposed to something which you can trade.
Right. Okay. One more just question that people might have is the Bitcoin kaise kharidne? It's like too expensive. So you don't have to buy one Bitcoin. You can buy a fraction of Bitcoin. That could be 0.0001 Bitcoin. So that's what you
Yeah.
can do on like exchanges. You can buy it for as low as 100 rupees. You can definitely do that. A lot of you have been asking me what cryptocurrency exchange do I use to buy and sell cryptocurrencies. I personally have been using WazirX, and I've been doing that from the last 8 months, and I've had a great experience. The best part about using WazirX, as you can see on your screen, is just the fact that you can quickly buy any cryptocurrency that you want to. So let's say, for example, I think Ethereum is going to be a great purchase right now. So I'll just click over here and I can just enter the amount. Let's just say I want to go with 500 rupees, or let's just do 700 rupees, and I can preview the buy and I can see the exact amount. I can see the maximum price and I can see the total, and I can click on confirm, and that is how I've purchased my first cryptocurrency. Now the first 500 people who will click the link in the description will be getting one WazirX token for free, so do check it out if you're interested. And now let's get back to the conversation. Okay, let's go on and talk about Ethereum. What is Ethereum as a project, and like how was it started? Vitalik Buterin started it. So what was the mindset behind it?
Yeah, so we can look at Ethereum as the second generation of blockchains. So the first generation was Bitcoin, as I said, transactions and store of value. The second level on top of that was the ability to leverage the blockchain to write code on it and to execute code. So you could use something called a smart contract. So just like a normal contract, you could create a smart contract, which is essentially just code, and that will execute based on certain external like situations which are happening. Like, let me give you an example. This is an example I use very often, but let's say I am a owner of an Amulka shop and you are a Amulka distributor in my city. So when you send a truck of ice cream to me, there can be a smart contract where it will keep seeing ki there is a GPS tracker on the truck, let's say. So the second that GPS tracker reaches my shop's location and stops, then automatically some amount will be cut from my account and sent to you. And you can also add other like logic on top of that. If the ice cream there is a temperature sensor, let's say, inside the back of the truck, and if it goes above a certain degree, like if it goes over 5 degrees Celsius, then I won't pay you anything. So all of these things can be factored in, written on code, and then transacted using blockchain. So it's like a layer on top of that. The first was transactions. The second is using code to do the transactions.
People don't have to trust each other. They just have to trust in the code. Right, that's what the tagline is.
That's the philosophy.
Ethereum.
Yes.
Okay, so it's basically programmable money. Gary Tan likes to call it ultrasound money, and he's heavily bullish on that. He actually bought Ethereum at 30 cents back in 2014.
Damn.
And right now it's at what,
very early to the game
or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go on and talk about the next crypto. What do you think would be the next one? Dogecoin?
Yeah, sure. Let's go for Dogecoin.
Yeah, let's go for
so Dogecoin is that class of meme coins. There is literally no project behind it. There's no value proposition of it, so to speak. All of it, like everything that it does is just be a meme. That is all it does. So you can buy it, you can trade it, you can sell it. But at the end of the day, it's going to create no more value than just creating the memes. Talking about it with your friends कि ठीक है मैंने Dogecoin let's say 8 cents में खरीदा मैंने 40 cents में बेचा. That's all the conversations you'll have because of it. There is no project which it is backing. So things like that. But yeah, meme coins. I think there's one called Shiba Inu also. That's also basically the same thing.
So there are like tons and tons of these random coins.
I think Safe Moon नाम का कोई भी है. Like there are many of these.
Safe Moon का नाम ही वही है. You should understand the नाम से. What is it trying to do? उसका project ही वही है. Right. अच्छा, one more question people might have is इतने सारे होते क्यों हैं? Why are there so many cryptocurrencies? Why are there crypto coins, altcoins?
That's a good question. Yeah, so that's a very good question, actually. The reason why there are so many is because all of them are different. Okay, that's one thing which people should understand. It's not like Ethereum is the same as Bitcoin, which is the same as Cardano, etc. There are a lot of fundamental decisions which were taken differently at the code level, at the blockchain level, which created a different way in which these coins work. So, for example, if one says that Cardano is different from ETH, so that's because one of them uses a different way to create consensus among the nodes on that network versus the other one. And behind these two different philosophies, we have created a way for all of these different coins to be created. So Shiba Inu is different from like Dogecoin. Why? Because like one thought about creating that Shiba Inu wala meme versus the other one. That is the only decision difference there. But then in the other ones which actually have projects behind them, there's significant difference behind why this one works in a particular way, how this one scales. So ye jo sare intricacies hai, that is what creates the difference, and that is why there are so many cryptocurrencies.
Right. Got it. You're talking about Cardano. What is Cardano project all about?
Right. So Cardano is one of the more interesting projects in the space. And that's because, like I said, Gen 1 was the store of value wala thing, so Bitcoin. Gen 2 is Ethereum, so being able to write code on it. Gen 3 is what Cardano is. So that is creating two things. One is the scalability aspect of it, and the other thing is the interoperability aspect of it. So scalability matlab kya? Right now, if you've heard that the transaction speeds are very slow, the transaction gas fees are very large, things like that. So what Cardano is doing is they are using something called proof of stake instead of proof of work. So Ethereum uses proof of work.
What was used with Ethereum and Bitcoin, in which all the miners have to work and they have to solve a particular crypto puzzle, and whoever solves it the fastest gets to mine that block of Bitcoin or whatever blockchain that is, right? And now we go to proof of stake. What is that all about?
Yeah. Right. So your explanation of proof of work was perfect. But one thing I want to add to that is that creates a system which is redundantly parallel, which means that there are 10 miners, let's say, who are performing the same problem at the same time. And that is where all of these issues come कि अच्छा ठीक है scale नहीं हो रहा है because सब लोग एक ही चीज पे टूट पड़े हैं. Whereas what happens in proof of stake is there is a validator who is elected among the total list of like validators. It's called validators, not miners in this thing. So only one validator is going to solve one problem at a time. And for that reason, everybody else is filled up. And for that reason, everything can scale because then you can do things in parallel if you want to. So then you can have like multiple sort of side chains where there are like multiple groups of miners, like validators who are doing it. So that is one thing. And the second thing which they are targeting is if you know, every single miner on the Ethereum chain or the Bitcoin chain has to have a list of every single transaction that has happened since the like inception of that particular blockchain. So that creates a huge amount of memory which needs to be stored and things like that. Whereas Cardano is doing some things under the hood to ensure that that doesn't happen. Like they're trying to create a system to do that. And the other part was interoperability. Interoperability is a fancy way of saying, yeah, banks should like accept it. So to make it bank friendly, so to speak, they are allowing transaction metadata. Matlab, if I were to, let's say, send you a transaction in which there are 20 rupees, then I can sort of add like a Google Pay mein kaise apan add karte hain na ki why I sent it. So it's letting you add a bit of data along with it. Now that's a very simplified example, but then I can add a lot of things on top of that. So a good use case for that is if I were to sell you a car, then in that car, I can send you all of the RTO ka details, the number plate ka details, things like that. And that metadata is what's going to really revolutionize the way these transactions happen on Cardano. So that's why Cardano is a really good project to look after.
Right. Let's talk about Tether. Tether is a stable
Tether has
coin.
been very controversial recently.
Yeah, USDT is the ticker name if you are interested. Yeah. What is Tether project all about?
Yeah, so the Tether project essentially means that there is going to be a coin which is pegged to the US dollar. That means regardless of where you withdraw it, things like that, 1 USDT is equal to 1 USD. That is what the value proposition is. But the problem which is happening because of that now is that so when somebody wants to withdraw it, there is the company behind Tether is actually going to have to provide liquidity for that. So provide liquidity means if I were to, let's say, give you that 1 USDT back and say कि मेरे को USD चाहिए, then that company is going to have to provide it. Now the problem in their case is they are having a backing ratio of 100 to 2, which means that for every 100 USDT they create, they have only $2 US in their bank account. So if more than 2% of people want to withdraw at any one time, the system is going to crash.
So basically what happens is that you give them $1 and they will give you 1 USDT. When you go them and say, okay, give me back my $1, they will give you the $1 and they will burn that USDT token that you gave to them. This was the whole idea. Abhi kuch something fishy is happening over there. You can check out some links in the description. Kuch article मैंने डाल दिए. You can check out about the complete जो भी चल रहा है वहाँ पे investigation and all. So okay, that is USDT. Quite a fishy coin, but it still is like huge right now. What $63 billion ka
that's true.
Unka market cap hai. So that's actually huge. All right, let's go on and talk about the next thing that would be Ripple. Let's talk about
Ripple. So Ripple, the project came out because the project Ripple came out of the idea that it should be an alternative to the banking system, in the sense that, let's say I live in US and I want to send some money to my parents living in India. Okay. So what I would do, I would use something like Western Union to transfer that money. Now what happens in Western Union is that there are a huge amount of fees which come into the picture when you're transferring that money. So they might take like a 10% cut, a 5% cut, whatever. But that's a very large amount of money which is sort of being left on the table because you are just transferring. So what they were trying to do is they were trying to create a global system of payment channels where if I were to, let's say, send like $100 from here, then a very small fraction of the amount would be taken in the transaction fees. And then the remaining, whatever, $99.9 will be like received on the other end. And that is something which would revolutionize the way payments happen across the world. The only problem with that, so to speak, is it sort of makes a question of the entry points and the exit points of the money. Because there is going to be some point, like some bank which is going to be the entry point to, like, let's say I put in 100 USD, and then that's going to be converted into Ripple tokens and then sent over the network. And then that Ripple token is going to be converted back into INR. And then my, like, whoever I'm sending it to will be able to withdraw it. So those entry points and exit points have to be like established. That infrastructure has to be established. Without that, the system will not work as it is intended to be. So that's how it's going right now.
Also, I think that it is not exactly completely decentralized. Like the Ripple
that's also true.
Organization holds a large percentage of XRP. That is their token. And if they decide to, they can basically do a lot of market manipulation if they want to. I don't know if they are doing it, but if they want
to. Like they have full rights to mine more people. That could devalue the currency anytime they want. So centralization concerns
times in the US at least.
Yeah, like these concerns of the centralization of this decentralized system are true, and that is something which is being looked into. So
right, you have to do your own research about all of these things. We're just like providing you knowledge. कौन सी cryptocurrency से अच्छी है invest करने के लिए, that you have to decide. Do you think programmable money is important? Then you go invest into Ethereum. If you think having digital gold is important, then you invest into Bitcoin or whatever project you like. You can start investing into that. We're just giving you.
And one more thing I want to add is just invest the money you're willing to lose. At the end of the day, this is, especially in India, this is an unregulated market. Till now, there hasn't been a set of laws which has come out from the Indian government. I'm sure they're taking their time. I'm sure they're making a good system by which like everybody will be able to benefit as much as they can. But until that doesn't happen, only invest what you're willing to lose.
Definitely. That is really important. I also invest like 5% of what I normally invest. So that's what you should invest, even less than that. But the best part is that you can buy a lot. You can buy like 100 rupees worth of crypto. So it's interesting that you can start off with that level.
That's true.
Okay, let's just quickly talk about some interesting projects. Like you have Polygon recently. Polygon is like an Indian company. And
Polygon is one of, I personally feel, because I come from the whole developer side of looking at things. So I personally find Polygon to be one of the more interesting projects in the field. And that's because it's targeting the biggest problem which blockchains technically have faced till now, which is the scalability solution. So at the end of the day, you've seen all of these blockchains, they've been around since like 2009, 2012. They haven't still scaled. And that's because scaling is not just a problem about like putting more miners or like breaking the chain up into like all of these smaller things. It's a much more technically intensive question. And what Matic is
security or scalability, that's a bit of a problem.
Yeah. And for that reason, what they're doing is they're trying to create a layer on top of the actual Ethereum blockchain. So Ethereum blockchain यहाँ पे चलेगा, इसके ऊपर एक sort of layer चलेगा, where a lot of these transactions can happen really fast. A lot of these transactions will happen with a very small amount of gas fees. And in that process, only like, let's say 50 transactions later, एक sort of transaction का sort of overview जाएगा main chain. So it commits it at certain points. Like this is a very simplified example. Don't quote me on it as I've said it. You will have to do your own research. But that is one thing they're doing. They're essentially creating an ecosystem of layer 2 solutions. So बहुत सारे ऐसे layer 2 solutions होते हैं. There's something called a plasma chain, side chain, there are ZK rollups. All of these terms, I'm throwing them at you. Research them. And they are essentially going to create a system where you can use any of the ones you need tailored to your application. And based on that, you can create a scalable solution on top of the current Ethereum chain. So it's a very interesting project.
What other projects are you looking out for that look interesting, that are not as mainstream as Bitcoin or Ethereum, but they are having interesting application according to you?
Right. So one major one which I really look into is one called Polkadot. So Polkadot is something which I feel is also going to be one of the next generation of blockchains. And that's because if you look at what's happening right now, Ethereum runs its own little chain, Bitcoin runs its own little chain, like whatever, Cardano runs its own little chain. There isn't interoperability within the chains. There isn't communication such that there is a unified chain which handles everything, and then you can jump from one thing to another. So what Polkadot is essentially doing is they're solving this interoperability problem, and they're doing that by dividing the landscape into three things. So the first thing will be something called a relay chain. So a relay chain is like the main chain. Ispe sub transactions aayenge. Every single transaction that happens, that's going to be put on that. And then there is something called parachains. So parachains are like these little side chains which just connect to the relay chain. So just like just joining it. And then the third thing is bridges. So a bridge is something which connects the relay chain or the parachain to some other blockchain. So like let's say one bridge connects to Bitcoin, one bridge connects to Ethereum, etc. And that will create like a connection between everything. So let's say if I were to send one, like use Ethereum ka some smart contract, then use Cardano for something, things like that, then this will create a unified ecosystem for everyone to use. And that is where I feel like there is a real innovation happening. By the way, the founder of Polkadot is actually one of the founders of Ethereum. So he used to work on Ethereum
ये
and then
सारे
he moved
इथेरियम
there.
वाले ही
So,
हैं, मतलब मैटिक
हाँ,
हो गया,
सारे Ethereum वाले
कार्डानो,
हैं.
सब उधर से निकल के हैं.
हाँ.
So all of
And
them
they're
have
main
some
guys.
different
मतलब.
beliefs, and so that is why they made different projects.
Yeah.
All right. So that's one project. I think BAT is also something interesting. If you use the Brave browser, which is free to use, it has like an ad blocker and all, you can actually get paid in BAT, right? So right now, if I go onto my Brave browser, I have like 10 BAT over there. So BAT is a token that is basically for creators. So basically, when you look at the advertisements, when you are viewing them, you are going to help the creators that are writing that particular video or that are writing a particular article. And so in that sense, that is also having some application, I think, from my own perspective as a creator. That is it. I hope you got to learn something from this. Let me know in the comment section if you have any questions about cryptocurrencies. If you want me to make any other videos about cryptocurrencies, you can let me know about that as well. If you want to learn how do I invest into cryptocurrencies, I have a video explaining exactly that. I will be linking that in the description. You can check that out if you're interested. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You can also check out WazirX from the link in the description. That is it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again in the next video.